Good morning and welcome to Sunday's meditation here at KPC. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to start by opening this practice with the 3-7-line prayer, which or the 7-line prayer, which we'll do 3 times. I will put that up on the screen now. Orgenyugi chamsam Pemage sadombola Yasan shogi no june Pemajune jesudra Koryu kandro mambokur Keki jesudam drupki Jinjilok shir sheksu sol Guru Pema Siddhihum Organ Yugi Nucham Sam Pema Ge Sadam Pula Yasan Shogi Nodrumne Pema Jungne Jisudra Koru Kandrom Mambokur Keki Jesudam Druki Jinjilok shir sheksu sol Guru Pema Siddhihum Organ Yugi Nucham Sam Pema Ge Sadam Bola Yasan Shogi Nodrumne Pema Jungne Jisudra Koru Kandrom Mambokur Keki Jesudam Druki Jinjilok shir sheksu sol Guru Pema Siddhihum. So let's take a moment to remember our motivation for being here today and to generate compassion for all beings. Whenever we begin an activity, we should begin by generating compassion for all beings, establishing a pure motivation, and really centering in that. This is especially true when we sit down to meditate or practice or pray. We listen to a Dharma talk or read a Dharma book. Our motivation determines the direction of our actions. So we must begin by establishing a proper motivation. So let's take a moment to do that now and generate compassion and make the wish that whatever virtue or merit we accumulate by doing this meditation practice together, that we dedicate that to, that it brings immeasurable benefit to all sentient beings. So let's do that now. All right. So the meditation we'll be doing today is called Shamatha meditation, as taught by Jetsama in her book, Stabilizing the Mind. So what is meditation? Because we hear about this a lot lately. It's very trendy to meditate. It's kind of a buzzword in the wellness world. But, what does it actually mean to meditate? Meditation is the natural state of mind when it's relaxed, when it's stable and open. Meditation trains our mind to become more calm and relaxed and yet alert and wakeful. So the whole point of meditation is to create more space in our mind. And with the way our busy lives are these days, especially in this Western world, all the demands that we have on us, all the distractions and multiple things pulling us in every direction, it's really important to have moments where we really rest the mind. And we take account of our mind and the state of our mind. So when we do this, when we allow our mind to rest, to create more spaciousness in the mind, We are able to balance our emotions better. We are able to create a pause before our reaction, before constantly reacting to every little thing that comes into our view. So it creates that space between action and reaction, and it's the first step in developing bodhicitta, which is the compassionate wish to free all beings from suffering. So it's very important that we allow ourselves this time to create more spaciousness in the mind and weave this throughout our week. So not just today as we sit down and meditate, but how can we make this a part of our week, of our day? So let's take a comfortable seat. You can be on the floor like me, or you could sit in a chair if that's more comfortable. We're cross-legged. We have our hands in our lap like this. You can have your thumbs touching and then right over left in your lap. And if it's more comfortable, you can also put your hands on your thighs if you're sitting in a chair or something. If that's easier. So we're just, the most important thing with our posture is maintaining a straight spine. So we can even imagine like a string pulling us from the crown of our head to the ceiling like this, keeping our spine nice and straight, but also not too rigid or forced. And our eyes are going to be gazing downward, almost like if we're drawing a line from the bridge of our nose down to the floor. We're picking a point on that line to rest our gaze. And we're keeping our eyes open, and then the tip of our tongue right behind our front teeth, so that our mouth is just slightly open but relaxed. And we're going to allow ourselves to totally breathe naturally. Nothing forced about our breath, nothing rigid about our breath, and we're not counting our breath. We are just breathing naturally. And we're putting a very light attention on our breath. So that is where our attention is going, but we're not trying to control it at all. We're just trying to breathe naturally, putting a very gossamer, thin attention on the breath, almost like taking your pulse, not trying to put any pressure on it. We're just trying to observe it. And your attention is like a feather gently riding the wave of your breath. It's riding the surface of your breath. So when thoughts arise, just like the breath, we can see them arise and we can just, on the exhale, let them go. And if we, feel a thought coming up, just like a bubble coming to the surface of a pond, we just let that thought pop. We just let it go and continue and refocus on the breath. So again and again, we're coming back to the breath again and again. If we find this to be very difficult, we can also use visualization to help us with the thoughts. So we could imagine like tongs picking up the thought and throwing it away, or scissors cutting the thought and tossing it out. Whatever helps us return to the breath again and again. So our meditation isn't lost by having thoughts, but it's when we go down the road with them. And we keep following those thoughts and they lead to more thoughts, or we're judging our thoughts. Oh no, I'm having so many thoughts now. Or from moment to moment, oh wow, I'm really not having that many thoughts. Or now I'm having so many thoughts. So it's just kind of letting that internal chatter go away as best as we can. Just again, returning to the breath. So we'll start with 5 minutes together. And I have a little timer here. And you might be able to hear it. It's a little gong timer. So we'll start with 5 minutes starting now. All right. So, if you notice anything too, if your mind might not be busy with thoughts, but maybe you have body sensations like tightness in the body or the shoulders. For me, I always tend to have dry eyes in the morning, so that's one thing that kept pulling my attention was how dry my eye was. So I've just like that can be a distracting thought. So again, we can return to our breath again and again. Um, and not go down the road with even our body sensations like that too. So those can become distractions. So we're going to do a longer sit now for, let's do 10 minutes. And if you're doing this throughout your week, if you're doing this at home, you don't have to start with, 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You can even start with 30 seconds, a minute, and gradually build your practice over time. It's really about being consistent, not being perfect with it. Each day we might find that our mind is totally different, and that's normal. One day we might feel like it's very easy to meditate. It's very easy to have less thoughts in the mind. And one day we're very, our mind's very busy. So just finding moments, even throughout our day, to just breathe and focus on the breath and, drop into a short meditation, whether even that's like in line or while we're walking or before we get out of our car, just focusing on the breath for a minute, so that we, again, create more spaciousness in our mind throughout the day. So just wanted to mention that we don't have to be a hero right away and try to dive into a 45-minute meditation our first try. That won't be that effective. So, it's about building the habit through time and just coming to meditation again and again. So let's do 10 minutes together. Starting now. Okay. If you need to stretch or have a sip of water, you can do that now. Also, one thing I want to mention is if you're feeling like maybe you're tired during meditation, you can actually raise your gaze a little bit so that more light comes into the eyes, and that will help you stay more alert. And if you're feeling like very active and a lot of thoughts, you can, keeping your gaze lower will help calm the mind. So that's kind of a helpful tip. And you might find that between these meditations, your mind feels very different. So we can use these tips and techniques to help us maintain our focus. So let's do a shorter one together to finish. So what time is it? Let's see. Let's do 3 minutes together. And again, just making sure that our spine is straight, that our hands are in our lap. We have right over left. Or we can put our hands on our thighs like this if that's more comfortable on a chair. And again, just we're breathing naturally, and our gaze is downwards to the floor, like a line from the bridge of our nose downwards, or resting our gaze on a point of that line. And again, depending on our energy level, we can raise that gaze or lower it. And then, our shoulders, again, our posture too, just making sure we're not kind of slouched on ourselves. Our shoulders are back and our elbows are back like that. So, and then breathing naturally and again, returning to the breath, and that gossamer thin attention on the breath, like a feather gently riding the surface of your breath. So that's where the attention is. In other meditations, your attention might be on a candle or a stone or a statue. Today, we're focusing on the breath, but you can use those other things to rest your focus and attention on. So let's do 3 minutes together, and then we'll do some closing prayers to finish. Okay, 3 minutes starting now. So thank you so much for joining us. We're going to do some closing prayers now. I will put those up on the screen. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I've accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice and all that I'll ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas altogether, whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have, similarly I, who have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. This way may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. So thank you again so much for joining us here online in the room. And we do this every Saturday and Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We also have on our YouTube page, Kunzang Peo Choling, we have a playlist. It's called just meditation. Our meditation playlist has a bunch of videos and resources there for you in different types of meditation practice. So you can supplement with that throughout the week until the weekend. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.